pros and fake gurus are getting humbled in this downturn, and or will be getting humbled. So look, I got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. I also have a mentorship, FlipAnything.com. I've been in real estate for 41 years. I've seen a number of downturns. And this is not the first time I've seen this. And it's interesting, though, because in the world of YouTube and that sort of thing, you get people that, profess to be professionals, and some are outright fakes. Some are, they've had some success. But what they haven't seen is what they don't have is they don't have experience. You got fake gurus that are just fake, okay? And I'm talking about, there's guys that they're inexperienced investors pretending to be experienced investors. And I'm talking about Kris Krohn, I'm talking about Grant Cardone in that realm. I don't think they have a lot of particularly good information for any real investor. And that's why they appeal. If you look at the stuff, the way they talk to people and the way that they present themselves, they really talk on a super juvenile level, and they're appealing to kind of a very juvenile audience. Then you've got young real estate guys that haven't been in the game very long. And I'm talking about, it's a little bit hard for me to pick on these because I'm not going to say fakes, okay? I'm just going to say inexperienced. I'm talking about Ryan Pineda. Talking about like meet Kevin, who I like them both, to be honest. And Graham Stephan doesn't really profess to have the expertise, but those guys have. And being a real estate agent isn't being an investor. And I can tell you something that I've seen happen over the years, and this is with all due respect to Ryan Pineda and meet Kevin, is you haven't seen any downturns. You really haven't seen any downturns. And I'm not talking about the little B downturn that we had with the pandemic. I'm talking about real ones. And what happens with the real estate is, generally you got, generally is flat and gains slowly, right? You're going to have that's why the banks love real estate. They know that historically it always goes up. It hits plateaus, it flattens, it drops sometimes, but in general, it always recovers and gets back on a track again. And so what I anticipate seeing is just a lot more of these guys being humbled, if not bankrupted. And they get a false sense of confidence, and I've seen this before, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. When you have, let's just talk about the last 8-10 years. Okay, so what's that take us back to? 2012. Well, after 2009, that was a little bit of a rough time, but things have been on a nice recovery pretty much ever since. And when we had the previous administration, the economy, I was fixing to think the economy was going to start to go down for other reasons, but Trump kind of pulled it out. And the economy, like I said, we enjoyed, and if it wasn't for the pandemic, which is a freak thing, which brought, it did both. It damaged some people and helped others tremendously. I got mostly upside from that myself. But again, if it never would have happened, we still would have had, everything would have just gone up. It would have just gone up more smoothly. But when you get into real estate, so just follow me on this. You got kind of, just imagine that you've got a grade, it's going up, let's say an 8% grade, right? Things are, generally going up, at a steady, maybe 8% a year, something like that. And then, the economy, the economy's good, it picks up, and, for whatever reason, things are clicking, people are working, and then it starts to kind of look more like like they call it the hockey stick, right? And that happens. It's somewhat predictable. It's not like it's on a clock, but it has a cycle. And so things go along at maybe 8%, and then all of a sudden 50%, it has some major jumps. And these guys that get into real estate in that short cycle, they jump in, buy something, and they're catching it, and it goes up, whatever, it goes up 30%. And then they buy another one, and same thing. So they're catching this little piece of what I call the hockey stick, right? Where it's kind of going up. Well, so it gives them a false sense of confidence because they've never seen a real downturn. They've never seen it, they've never felt it, and so they feel like a rock star, and reasonably so, because it's hard not to. It's just hard to lose in this little piece of things going up so fast, and so it gives you a false sense of confidence. And believe me, I've seen it back in different times in my life where I wouldn't even say exact dates, but where things are coming back, and it's all of a sudden people are all of a sudden they're like, wow, real estate's great. You just buy something and you make 100 grand, or you buy something and you make 200 grand. And it's fair to say, and then the guys like me that have been around a long time, we're like, well, it's not always that way. It's not always that way, but we're still getting in the game. Don't get me wrong. And we still watch the market, and we still benefit. I benefit from these upswings big time, but I'm still cautious that I know that they can end swiftly, and that's why I've been so safe. And I've made a lot of money, but I got at the perfect time. I really am proud of myself, to be honest. I got rid of all the houses that I really wanted to get rid of. I turned a building for $1.8 million, and went right into another one that was I got a good deal on it. It was worth about 3.5. I got it for 2.8, and I bought another industrial building. I got a fantastic deal. I paid, this is all recent stuff, and so I bought maybe $12-13 million worth of real estate in the last year. And I got rid of some stuff that it was time to go. It was time for that stuff to go. Some stuff has a life. It's time to sell. And so, but what I'm saying is, when I see guys creating these funds, and like I'll tell you, say Kris Krohn, he's got a lot of houses that he's been buying with partners, and he's not going to get the gift of all that appreciation of anything that he's bought in the last year. And so I think, like I said, he kind of all of a sudden he's segueing into franchises, and I got a feeling there's a reason for that. And again, it's very difficult when people have limited experience to teach you about real estate, because there's a whole world they haven't seen yet. And just being in the prime time, getting to feel that hockey stick, the big jump up, it's not the kind of experience that's going to take you very far. There's so much more to it. These guys primarily have kind of been in, a fast appreciating market, and we're in great demand, and so flips and things like that have been pretty easy to do and make money on. But now it's kind of like the music stopped. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to grab their chair and sit, and who's going to be left? Without a good seat, or I'm thinking about the chair game. But where I'm going with this is, you're going to start seeing people being humble. Ryan Pineda, he was looking at this apartment building, huge complex. I looked at that things. People in my class, in my mentorship, said, take a look at it. I did it, and terrible. I thought it was horrible. High crime rate, terrible. I thought, man, why are you even doing this? You got a great future ahead of you. You got to go in business. Kind of a rock star, potential there, in the YouTube world, and attaching to that kind of stuff, I think surely is a mistake, and I still think it was a mistake. And he may be realizing it's a mistake, maybe not. I don't know, but I think that was the 332 units or whatever it was. I think that's going to come back to haunt him terribly. Kris Krohn hanging on to too many of his houses, I think it's going to be a nightmare. And Grant Cardone too, possibly. If he's got adjustable rates on those mortgages that he's got, or again, that's something that's going to haunt him. Because what's going to happen is, when people lose jobs and don't pay rent, and the mortgage is going up, you follow me? It's kind of the worst of both worlds. You got vacancies going up, and you've got the cost to hold that stuff goes up. And like I say, if somebody wants to buy you out, guess what? You're not as attractive as an asset, because you don't have the stability of tenancy. It'll get competitive. The rents will go down, and then on top of it all, money's more expensive. And so that's why I say, and like I said, you got guys that I think are kind of fake and scammy, and then I think there's guys that are like I'm going to talk about Ryan Pineda. Is just young. He's just young. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a sharp guy, but he does lack experience in some areas. That it's undeniable. You can't pull experience out of your ass. You can't just read about recessions and things and downturns. You gotta feel it. You gotta live it. You gotta see it. And he's gonna get one. So he's gonna get some experience in that respect. And so, anyways, that's all. I just wanted to share that. Also want to say congrats to Kris in my class. We've been, this is one of the things in the mentorship is I help everybody through I call it critical support in negotiations and things like that. It's one thing to read the book, and I can show you how to find a lot of deals, and in the mentorship even more. But it's when you need somebody. It's like it's like a lifeline. The games they have where you get to call somebody for help. That's it. I'm kind of like the lifeline. You can call me and go, hey Tom, this is what the seller's coming back with. What do I do? And I've been there, done that. And I'll take questions here in a minute. I'm going to pull over and park in a minute, so hang out, guys that are asking questions. And so you need somebody that's been it, that lived it. I've been buying property for 41 years, and I've made tens of millions of dollars doing it. And I started with nothing. I mean, real zero. And not even a wealthy family. Not even ready, not a bedroom at home or anything like that. So it's the experience I bring to the table is really the most pertinent for most people that are starting with nothing, right? Or even $1 million, because I've been there too, right? I've been progressing through all these years. So I know what I bring to the table as a mentor, and if somebody wants a seriously good mentor, I've got that. FlipAnythingUSA.com. And again, respectfully to the guys that I've mentioned, it's just that simple. You have to live it. You can't just jump in. And there's a lot of things you haven't seen if you've only been in the game for 10 years or 20 years. There's things I started in a terrible recession, in the 80s, in 81 when I bought my first property. And we're talking about when interest rates were 14%. They were coming down from 16, I think, before that. I was too young to buy then. But I was buying and selling property like crazy. And in owner finance and all sorts of stuff at 10% because that was competitive with the banks at the time. And so when I hear some young, real estate guy that's supposed to be somewhat of an authority, and he's saying, "Oh, I just poured concrete over there. Maybe I got to show you that." No, it's too stinky. Anyhow, I was going to go to the Little Red Rum murder house I just bought. I poured a southern living room over there a little while ago. Today. Anyways, we'll get back to that. But what I was going to say is, you have to go through. It just takes years to get experience, and there's all kinds of situations you can get into. Some that can become litigious. There's some that come around land, apartments, estoppels and rental deals. There's all kinds of stuff that it takes years to get those experiences. And I'm very comfortable. It's a wonderful thing to have had I'm not even sure exactly how many deals I've done, but probably roughly 200. And that's about 5 a year. Not that many, 5 a year. Actually, I'm looking at 2 houses I just bought. I'm getting ready to paint right now. But let's look at some questions. All right. Hello, Tom. I have funds available to participate in the mentoring program, but none available. Wait a minute. What's? Hang on. I'm jumping around here. I'm going to start at the top, guys. Richard Smith. Hello. Lusimbi. Hello, Tom. I have the funds available to participate in the mentoring program, but none available to engage in real estate deals. Then don't get in. It's hard for me to say whether or not I should pay for the class. I'll tell you right now, I won't even let you in. Listen, I'm not a fake guru. Those guys, they will tell you to put this shit on your credit card. I'm telling you, if you got $2,000 and that's all you got, don't get in my fucking class. I'm just being serious and straight with you. I don't know how old you are, but are you 20, 19, I'm not sure. You know, I mean, I need more information. But in all honesty, I would just say it's difficult. Let me put it this way. I think that you can watch the free stuff and you can get my book and you can start there. And even with the book, listen, you can make a less sophisticated deal and make 10 grand or 20 grand or 50 or 100. You know, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars still with my book and nothing else. I can just fast track you there. So, but if you only got $2,000 for the mentorship, because I'm not a big hand holder, right? I have fantastic students, but everybody knows I'm not a big hand holder. And I don't want your money. If you have that little money, I don't want it. Go tell Kris Krohn you got $2 grand. He'll take it. Tell Grant Cardone. Those guys will take it. They'll try to get you for $5 and say, go borrow $3 from your parents. I mean, I've had those stories, you know, in my mailbox from other students. I don't want your money. I want you to succeed. And I tell people no all the time. I had a guy, he's 64, who write me today, you know, in the mentorship. And, you know, and he was like ready to sign up or want to know, but he hadn't even bought the book. I said, no. I said, listen, go get the book first. Spend $10 before you even think about spending $2,000. It's a real education, and I take it seriously, and I earn my money. I don't just send you a stack of papers and notebooks or CDs and say, here, watch. It's not like that. I have every class, hundreds of hours. I have absolutely taught stuff that I've lived and done, and I see the results in my students. And look, I don't know how many millionaires I got, but more than 5. And others, you know, not far behind. And that's in a very short time. And I don't know anybody that has that record of success. And it only comes from the mentoring, because there's so many unique situations where I've helped people save deals, helped people get deals that they wouldn't have got otherwise. And this is talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions maybe, for some. That it wouldn't have happened. I know it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't there as their lifeline to answer the questions. Do this. Hey, do this. Oh, they're doing that. Do this. I mean, it's a chess game at some point. So let me get back here. Okay, Musimbi. Okay, so there you go, Musimbi. You know, you can fill out the mentorship, Musimbi. I'll talk to you, but I'm telling you, I won't let you in right now, for sure not. But I don't know if you're 18 or 30. So if you're 30 and you only got $2,000, you probably got other problems if you can't save more than $2,000. Peter and Anya, what's a cash return that would make you hold on to a property? What if you had a lot of equity in it? You pull it out, lock, LOC. Never done. Yeah, Peter, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in there. Save it for the mentorship, buddy. You're in the class, aren't you? I think you're in the class. Want to reach out to older landlords who might be ready to cash out. Yeah, Peter, I don't know if you're in my class or not. I'm starting to think maybe you're not. Hey, Greg, you have to have a strong why you want to do something. Yeah, it's good to have a passion. It's good to have a passion. Yeah, so Peter, anyways, listen, I got all kinds of properties. It's just too much information to answer right here. But if you don't have the book, Peter, do you have the book, Peter? I'm curious if you have the book. There's no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. You have to set a high standard for profit. In other words, if your standards are low, believe me, you can buy something tomorrow. You can buy stuff every day if your standards are low. When you have high standards, that's when you're going, I can't find anything. People are like, what do you mean? There's property for sale everywhere. Yeah, I know there's property for sale everywhere, but not for 35% off. You know. Oh, Peter, you are. So Peter, you're new though. You're new. You got to get through the 1 month course, buddy. Yeah, right. I think you're only a weekend maybe, because your name's so new to me. I don't know it. But you got to get through the course. So this is one of the things that does happen with people that get in the class. And I'm not picking on you, Peter, by any means at all. Everybody's so anxious. Everybody's anxious. They want to make something. They want to do something. And I get it. And as they get in the course, they realize, oh my God, this is real. And they get more anxious. But you got to have the discipline. You got to get through the first month. You got to get through the first month, because believe me, people are excited. They're like, hey, can I get the second week release early? You know, I get a little of that sometimes. I'm like, no, just go watch the first part again. Okay, and other people explain, like Tom, it's like, you know, drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of information, and it's fine, and that's why it's important. I cover a lot of stuff, and it's okay to hear it. You just kind of hear it and kind of remember it. You don't have to know it. You just, but that way, when you go, when you might not encounter something for 10 years, and you go, you know what? I remember when Tom was explaining that. You know what I mean? And who knows? I may still have the mentorship in 10 years, you know, or longer. Who knows? Or you know what? You'll know what to do. You know, that's the thing, is you'll know what to do. You know, there's a lot of things. You know, when you get trained, right? When you get trained, you have a trainer. You know, when you go to school, you have a teacher. Not just here's the books. That's not how it works. It helps to have an educator, somebody that can fill in the blanks. You know, because there's just too much to it. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. You know, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's you know, but it's teachable. It's teachable, and it's fantastic, and you'll love it. And I'm telling you, if you're watching right now, if you have 10, 20, 30 grand, spend $2,000 and get an education that you won't get anywhere else. You can't get the education that I'm going to give from anybody else. I'm just telling you, you know, I don't know that even seems close to have the kind of experiences I do, and it's even going to be different to a degree, is Ben Malla. And Ben Malla started a little later than I did, and he also is younger than me, and he's also richer than me. But here's the difference. Ben started with a mentor. He started with a mentor, okay? And he'll talk about it, and he expresses what an advantage it was for him. And that's what you get with me, is you kind of get that Ben Malla edge in as much as what he had. He had a mentor. I didn't have it. I had guys I had role models in as much as I had people that were very wealthy, that, you know, there's people that I work for, there's people that I can, you know, I mean, it's not hard to figure out who's got the money in town. I was in a small town too. And, you know, and I talk to people, I try to make a deal. And, you know, a lot of those guys appreciated my enthusiasm. I work for these guys. And they're like, you know, you can kind of role model. Now, role model meaning you kind of see what somebody has, what you want to have, and you kind of model their behavior, right? And you kind of, or, you know, ask how you can, but, you know, and you learn little tidbits. You know, some of the best one-liners I have are from some of these guys. Like, you never get hurt taking a profit. That, you know, and one that I've coined is easy to do, hard to undo. That's mine. Easy to do, hard to undo. You know, when my dad was chasing this Mormon girl. My dad was single, and he really liked this Mormon girl, and he went and got baptized, you know, in the Mormon church. I think just because he liked her so much. Anyways, I think about that, and I don't know why that comes to my mind, but the easy to do, hard to undo is, think about it. You have hesitation about the girl you're going to marry, and you marry her, and it turns into a nightmare. You have hesitations about, you shouldn't be scared when you buy something. You should be excited and happy like it's Christmas. That's how it is when I buy something. Not, oh God, I hope this is the right thing to do. You know, people cross their fingers and write the check. Don't do it. You should never feel that way. Even in my mentorship, if you don't put in the time, the due diligence to study and check on me and to look at what I've accomplished and look at the videos, and if you can't dissuade or discern what's good information, then wait. You got to wait until you know that the person that you're dealing with is honest and really is experienced. Because there's a lot of guys that are, you know, I mean, look, there's so many guys that are just, I mean, I'm like embarrassed watching them. Like, what the hell? This is stupid. And, you know, and people are sitting there, you know, buying this stuff, and I'm like, and then, you know, I tell it in the class, the masses are the asses. The masses are the asses. That's why do you think there's only 2% of the country makes $400,000 a year? You know, it's because 98% don't know shit, and they don't work hard to figure it out. And, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, but so think about that. Not a lot of people make $400,000 a year, and so many people are so far from that, and so far from that. They don't have to be, but some of them just don't know what to do, and some of them didn't have good role models. So look, I'll give you my advantage that I had as a kid. It wasn't money, but I had a dad that believed in me. I had my dad that said, son, shit, you're smart. You can do anything you want. And I was smart. And I am smart. And he would say, you can do anything you want. And I believed him. And that confidence, not everybody gets at home. I get it. And some people, and believe me, funny enough, my dad was not a good businessman. I called it the G. Willikers gene. These guys, oh, golly, G. Willikers. He wasn't quite that bad, but he was a passive sort, nice guy, smart, oh my God, very smart, mechanically gifted like crazy. But he was somebody that was not, he wasn't a wheeler dealer, he wasn't an entrepreneur, and those are all things that I am. And where it comes from, or maybe just flat desire from being poor, that's probably why. Being poor, it gives you a lot of incentive, and a lot of people, somebody's working, they say, Tom, I'm 30 years old, I got 60 grand in the bank, and, that's a good accomplishment. That's, it's good to have 60 grand. A lot of people can save that kind of money. Well, you got all the discipline, you just don't know what you're doing. You just need a little guidance, guys. You just need a little bit of guidance. And I say guys because 99% of my class is men. And, and I'll be real quick about this. You just don't know what to do. You just don't know what to do. Listen, I would work 12 hours a day and I would have money because I had no time to spend it. I didn't make a lot. I'm talking about as a cabinet maker. I just worked my ass off. But when I found real estate, my light went off, right? I realized, shit, there's an easier way to get there. And then I still worked hard in the cabinet shop because you got to have a skill. You got to have a cash flow of some sort, and that's usually your job. Well, then pretty soon, my rentals, my income, 27 years old, the income from my rentals and from carrying notes and flipping properties and owner financing far exceeded the income that I had. I just didn't need it anymore. And so when I had a rude customer in, I said, fuck it, I'm done with this. And I sold my company. And I sold my company for $250,000. That's a pretty good accomplishment itself. Selling a business. I built a business and I sold the business for $250,000. But I'd already made about $1 million in real estate, and that's why I realized I don't need this anymore. And I've never looked back. That's all I've done ever since. And that can be your story. But I'm telling you, if get a skill, start making some money, save, live below your means. That's the best tip I can give you. You don't have to flip real estate in the beginning if you don't have a lot of money. You can flip tools. You know what? I actually bought I stopped. Well, I can't give away all this. This I'll save for class. I got something to tell you guys in class. Remind me, those of you in class, remind me Saturday. I'll tell you in the Zoom. Those of you that want to get in there, listen, get the book. You can be reading it in 3 minutes. Go get it on Kindle, Audible. I'll read it to you. Listen, take time. You can, for $10, this will open your eyes to a world you don't know anything about. And you will see that, oh my gosh. And it may not. Maybe you'll be bored with it. If you're bored with it, don't do it. You gotta have a passion. You gotta want it. So, anyways, hey Delta. Yeah, let's see. Good deal. Delta says, Tom, I'm just curious if you've dealt with mineral rights. I mean, there's all kinds of land stuff. That there's somebody else who's got the rights to the minerals, to the oil, water rights even too. So yeah, I mean, I've seen some of that stuff, but it's not like something I go out and look for. Looking for gold. We have a thing. It's called, I don't know if you guys know what leverite is. But when you're looking for gold, any stone, it doesn't matter what it actually is, whether it's quartz, different things. If it's not gold, it's leverite, okay? Leverite there. Don't pick that up, it's a rock. Leverite is anything that's not gold is leverite. So, anyways, hey, please subscribe. I don't even care if you like. Subscribe, and maybe you'll catch on. Anyways, thanks. Have a great time, guys. We'll see you. Appreciate everybody who comes in and hangs out.